Yeah, hello, sir. Welcome to our ARS. This is the annual seminar.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So, I have small three questions about you, your experiences, a vast experience you have the wildlife conservation and the research. So, my first, I want to know that what is your inspirations? What bring you in this career? Your first questions.
A very good question. Actually, if you ask this question to many
Yeah.
people, see, somebody would tell, when I was a child, my parents used to take me to the forest. So I developed a lot of interest in wildlife. And some other people would say, oh, there is a lot of forest around my area, so we see a lot of animals.
Yeah.
And some other would say, I have done MSc in wildlife biology,
Yeah.
etc. I have done nothing. You see,
Okay.
I come from Punjab.
Okay.
We have about 25 hectares of land. There were 3 trees.
Oh.
That is my exposure to forest. Okay. And in our village, in near Ludhiana,
Mm.
once a monkey came. That is the only monkey I have ever seen. Some stray rhesus monkey male came, and the whole village came there to see because they had never seen a monkey.
Okay.
So that is the exposure to wildlife which I had, or forestry which I had. To simply say that nothing
Yeah. So
in
how
the
is
plains
this
of
shifting,
Punjab. So when
sir?
I finished my masters in psychology,
Okay.
my basic degree is in psychology from Punjab University. I met one professor. He was in Merit University, which is today called Chaudhry Charan Singh University.
Yeah.
He was doing very unique work. He was studying monkeys. He was actually a psychology professor, but he was studying monkeys and doing all kinds of studies on experiments in monkeys. There were monkeys kept in enclosures in lab at Merit, and then they were also in big enclosures. And parallel studies were also going on in what is today called Rajaji National Park
Yeah.
near Dehradun. So that was the only setup from lab up to the wild under one professor. The studies were being conducted with similar kind of research questions.
Okay.
So when I joined him, he gave me an option whether I would continue because a lot of studies were done on brain lesions and so on, or you would like to go to the forest. I said I would go and study the forest monkeys. So I went to Dehradun Forest, near Shivalik Hills. So 1973-74, I spent my time there in Rajaji National Park
Yeah.
studying monkeys. And it was just because we lived there in the forest that Asarodi guest house was taken over by Merit University on rent. So that's where my interest started in forestry interest. Went to elephants, went to birds and so on. So my background was totally different than the wildlife
Yeah.
biology. It was a typical psychology background.
So I have one questions in between that. So you have done your psychology, then how it is different the ethological aspects in the
It see,
behavior?
it helped a lot. It helped
Yeah.
me a lot in understanding behavior.
Yeah.
Because psychology, it may be the main emphasis on human psychology, human behavior, but we study as students and we also train the students how to systematically record behavior.
Yeah.
It's basically human behavior. But most of that behavior psychologists do, it is taking paper pencil tests, a personality test or something. But it is also recording behavior in public places.
Yeah.
So that, actually I nowadays tell that psychology students can become very good ethologists because they have a training in how to observe behavior, which many other sciences like zoology and all, it is not taught there.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what my background was. Then at Mysore University, when I went to do PhD there, and then I continued my lecturer and the leader professor till last March. I have been in Mysore for 50 years,
Okay.
and I was the first person to start a full-fledged specialization in animal behavior for MSc psychology students.
Okay.
Nowhere in the country it was being offered.
Yeah, it's excellent, sir. So we often feel that the behavior kind of study most necessary for to manage the human wildlife conflict related issues. So what is your view in this aspect?
Not just human wildlife conflict.
Yeah.
Sometime back in current science,
Mm-hmm.
I published this article
Mm-hmm.
why animal behavior studies are necessary for wildlife management.
Exactly. Yes.
You see, when we are managing animals, unless you know their behavior,
Mm-hmm.
see, in the days to come,
Mm-hmm.
India would finalize the policy, legal everything. There would be enough this law and that law and all that. then wildlife manager will need to study what? What are the ranging patterns of an animal you want to conserve? What are the mating systems? What are the mate choices or non-choices they have? You know, what kind of feeding habits? How much adaptability in feeding they have? These are all behavior studies.
Exactly, sir.
And it is in the very long run, it is the most important thing is going to be the study of animal behavior for management and conservation, which has been ignored.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. I started today with the role of science. So the role of science is going to be very important. See, most of these sanctuaries and national parks were basically established by very valid observations by the forest department. I mean, they knew where the animals were, they knew about the forest. So that's how they were conserved and declared as parks and all. But now the time has come when we require a lot of scientific data. So you need that scientific input, and of course take local communities and all into confidence. But there is need for more and more input of science, and
Yes.
that's why there is more and more need of interactions between the field managers and the scientists. See, sometimes the scientist has to learn a lot from the field manager, and the field manager needs a lot of input from the scientist.
Yeah.
So, the science of ecology, science of animal behavior, these are most essential today for conservation of, especially the management. And human wildlife conflict, of course, even typical psychology techniques called aversion. Food aversion has been one thing in psychology, which we can try in the field, for example. Food aversion, for animals like pigs and animals like monkeys, when they go for particular kind of foods. And you can try that food aversion techniques and they can, it's a simple kind of conditioning.
Yeah.
So, lot of behavioral principles actually established by psychologists can be applied for solving animal behavior, animal-human conflict,
Excellent, sir.
purely on the basis of behavior
Yeah.
studies.
Yeah. So last one questions that how do you feel this research seminar in the
Oh, this is
platform?
very
Yeah.
good. See, some of these organizations, I just love their works.
Yeah.
We have Nature Conservation Foundation in Mysore, Aaranyak. Initially, we had only one important organization called Bombay Natural History Society, a
Exactly.
very traditional one. So now a lot of them have come up, and then you see the young people who are working there. They're so much enthusiastic about work. Something I find missing is, nowadays not very many people want to go to the field. See, some of them simply want to do computer modeling. I would do this without any much data. So I think that we have to motivate the students to go to the field as much as possible.
Excellent. Yeah.
See,
Exactly.
earlier there was a joke in Wildlife Institute, the 4 semesters program, MSc Wildlife, that the students are coming only for the fourth semester,
Okay.
because that was when they used to be fully in the forest to do their dissertation. And now it is becoming like they are interested in 3 semesters, not the fourth one.
Yeah.
You see now, the trend is becoming, not that much interest in going to the field. I think that we must inculcate, because unless you see, and natural history is something which is missing.
Yeah.
See, wildlife research is very fine. I am one of those scientists, hypothesis oriented. I say, give your research question as much as possible in form of a hypothesis, but don't overlook natural history.
Exactly.
Natural history is missing in so many
Yes.
things.
Yes.
We have American students especially.
Yeah.
They are just trained like this.
Yeah.
I have had American students. I would ask them, in the same forest, he was doing a postdoc work on monkeys. I mean, how many times you saw elephants? I heard sometimes them. It's like they're elephants. They're not some small things.
Yeah.
I mean, they just this much. The work was fantastic.
Yes.
They do very good work, but then they miss the things, and in that missing, they're also losing the enjoyment and fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
See, the natural history. Otherwise, wildlife research can become boring.
Yeah.
I mean, you give somebody a tape, chalo bhai, ye 1000 trees, take the measurement, and he requires 30 days to do so. He'll get totally bored and go home. He'll go home.
Yes, sir.
So, wildlife research that way is a very painstaking kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless you mix it with the natural history,
Yeah.
then really it becomes fun filled,
Yeah.
and you enjoy it,
Yeah,
which
we-
I think is
Exactly.
sort of missing in the present generation.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. What we generally call as the language of nature. We need to know the
Yes.
language of nature. So thank you, sir. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right.